Hey everybody, welcome to another chapter on game version differences. The game that I have here today is the classic Defender of the Crown, and I'm pretty sure most people have heard of this game. Looking at the back, you can see that Cinemaware, the company that made this game, tried very hard to give a movie-like feel. So the back of the box actually shows basically people walking into a movie theater and buying a ticket, and the pillars here with the screenshots are supposed to be like a stylized old-fashioned movie theater where they show the screenshots of different things you can do in this game. And the graphics were pretty incredible at the time. Originally the game was created for the Amiga. All these screenshots are from the Amiga, so the IBM PC version, you're not going to have as good screenshots on it, or as good graphics rather, but it was pretty innovative for the time, and also the gameplay, a lot of different styles of gameplay mixed into one, and the main goal was just to have the game be cinematic. And on the back here it says, the age of chivalry, time of lusty wenches and black-hearted villains. King Richard has been murdered and England thrown into civil war. Amidst the ringing clash of steel and the thunder of charging steeds, the bold Saxon knights have chosen to lead them into battle against the hated Normans. Blah, 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 blah. Heart-pounding actions, you rescue your lady from a foul Norman prison. Majestic tournaments where you joust for fame, fortune, and land. Heroic battles featuring castle-shattering giant catapults. A unique blend of role-playing and strategy combined with dazzling arcade-style sequences. So one thing you'll notice, it doesn't mention Robin Hood anywhere on the box. Although inside the box in the manual it mentions him many, many times. I'm not sure why that is. There were later revisions of this game or remakes, and they're actually called Robin Hood Defender of the Crown to add the Robin Hood name. But anyway, we're not here to analyze the game today. We're here to look at these two different copies. And you can see right away looking at them that they're different. This one is, you'll see that the graphics sort of fit better on the box. And this one, even though it has the classic Cinemaware Presents logo at the top, which most Cinemaware games sort of had this type of box with a slipcover on top of the Cinemaware stylized box, again looking like a movie theater. This is like the classic Cinemaware presentation, but you can see that the bottom of the credits is cut off on the right box for some reason. And even though these are both IBM PC versions, that's basically the major clue that this one is a re-release. Actually, these are both re-releases, just to be completely frank, because there are so many releases of this game that, even for IBM, and there were releases in the 2000s as well. If you want the very latest graphics and sound, you probably want to seek out one of the releases that came much later than these two did. These two both came around 1987, 1988. But in terms of these two, this one is clearly later, because they tried to use the classic Cinemaware logo and box style, but in order to do that, they either had to shrink the box art or they had to cut off part of it, and they chose to cut it off. I'm not sure why they did that. I don't think it was really the greatest choice to cut off words like in the very middle of the word, but you can definitely see that this one is definitely a later release than this one is. And when you look at it, you'll see actually some other things that are pretty cool. So as I mentioned before, this one on the right comes with the standard Cinemaware box, which is very cool. These guys, they're giving you the movie theater feel. Get ready to enter the great Cinemaware game. And this is a two-piece box that you open up. This one, though, is even cooler, actually, because this one opens up like a book. And when you open it up, you see it looks like a box of popcorn that you could be eating from during the movie. That's pretty cool. That's very immersive. There's a little Cinemaware logo here, the popcorn box that, takes it away a little bit, but it's a giant-sized box of popcorn, and I think that's much cooler, frankly, than the classic Cinemaware box that came later. This box, unfortunately, is a little beat up. See, the bottom is, bent and tried to get into shape, but I'll probably have to find a better copy, probably even an older copy than this one. You can also see, by the way, this is not, a very, very first edition, because it says Software Publishers Association Award winner, over 225,000 copies sold. That's generally a hint that there was a version before this. In this case, it could have been just the Amiga version was the one that sold the 225,000 copies, and this is the first IBM PC version. But I don't believe that's the case, just from the research that I've done. So let's open up the contents here on this one. So first of all, The discs come on this one here in this sort of special disc holder folder thing. The discs are apparently they look exactly the same. The ones on the left, the ones on the right. Once you take them out, they both say IBM PC, Tandy 1000, true compatibles. They both say copyright 1988. They're basically the same thing. What else do we have in the box here? There's a few other things. So I have a manual. Here. These are both the exact same manual from what I've been able to tell. I couldn't find any difference whatsoever. The one on the right obviously is a little more beat up, a little more worn, a little more yellowed or faded. But in terms of the text of the manual, inside and out, it's exactly the same. So no change there. So again, the discs are the same. The manual is the same. They both have this Defender of the Crown reference card. Again, I was not able to find any differences at all with this card. They both have the same part number. Everything looks exactly the same. And then there's a registration card, which is a little bit different. This is just a one-piece registration card. And the one on the right here is one that folds open. It's a little bit bigger, but aside from that, basically they're the same. So I'm assuming this is a later version of the card. This is an earlier version of the card. And this one came with a couple of extra things. The Cinemaware treasure ticket, which the later Cinemaware releases, I've seen come with these. I think this was to collect these and get some kind of reward, although I'm not really sure what the reward was. And it also came with this get a 3.5 disc version direct from Cinemaware. If you remember on the box, it said 3.5 disc offer, so that matches with this card. This one actually was supposed to come with 3.5-inch discs. If you look here on the label, it says it contains 5.25-inch and 3.5-inch discs, but apparently the 3.5-inch disc was missing from this copy, so it doesn't have it in either one. But basically, you see that the contents are almost exactly the same. I would say no substantial difference, but the box is quite different. You have to choose, basically, do you want the cool Cinemaware box like this, or do you want the popcorn box? And I personally prefer the popcorn box, not only because I believe it's an earlier release, but also because I think it's cooler. And you can get that classic Cinemaware box with a bunch of other Cinemaware titles as well. So this is the one I'm going to go with. But of course, you can also collect both. And now we have a game version differences, bonus content. So for the first time doing something different here, I actually have a third copy of Defender of the Crown, which is different from the previous two. And this one is a European release. That's why it looks different. You can see the form factor is smaller. This is a smaller box than the other one. And normally I wouldn't do European release compared to US release because those are always different. But I happen to have this copy, so I figured I'm already doing two, why not do a third? This is an interesting box. First of all, even though it's smaller than this one, they still managed to fit all the content on it because they shrunk it, which is probably what they should have done for this one too. The box is a slip cover, but there's no top to the box underneath. It's just a one-piece bottom box, and that appears to be the way that it came. Obviously, this is Mirror Soft on it. That was the distributor in the UK. Again, the back, they managed to capture everything with Mirror Soft logo as well. This time it does come with a 3.5-inch disc and also two 5.25-inch discs. The discs all say Mirror Soft on them. There's no confusing them or interchanging them. And even says exclusive distribution by Mirror Soft in Europe, exclusive of France. The manual, again, is basically exactly the same, except it's smaller. It has the Mirror Soft logo. They shrunk the artwork again. The form factor of the manual has to match the form factor of the box. Obviously, it'll be a little bit different, but it's materially the same. There is a comment here saying that this version supports more color modes, which is interesting. And like I said, there were versions that supported more graphics cards, and the earliest versions of Defender of the Crown for the PC support only CGA graphics. They don't look too good, but later versions support EGA also. But like I said, there's even later versions that came out in the early 2000s that I believe support VGA as well. So those are probably the ones you want to track down if you want the very latest graphics. And then it comes with a reference card, just for comparison. Here's the other reference card from the other one. Again, pretty much the same, except they had to sort of shrink it down to match the form factor. The text is also a little bit different. I mean, there's different things here in terms of loading instructions. They basically rewrote this for the Mirrorsoft release instead of just copying the text over here. I'm not sure why they did that. And they highlighted different things, like here they don't talk about, they talk about different battle strategy, but here they actually list out what what the numbers are in different situations. So they tried to highlight different information for the player. And also have a separate loading instruction card. This one has the Mirrorsoft logo on the back. It actually opens up a little bit, and I'm not sure why you need both of these, to be honest, because the battles. This one actually looks more like this one over here. Like in terms of the battles text, for example, it's pretty much the same text, just in a different form factor to fit the box. And the loading instructions are the same, but for some reason this one has another one as well, which is some duplicate information. Maybe it didn't belong to this release, but it sure seems to fit the box really well, so my guess is that it did. And then finally, it has its own registration card that goes directly to Mirrorsoft. So again, 3 different versions of this game, 3 different boxes. All the boxes are nice. My pick is still the one here in the middle, but to each their own in terms of their collection. Hope you found that interesting, and until next time, do your part to defend the weak and the innocent. Have a good day.